comments. Welcome, everybody, to Futbol Miami TV Weekly. I am your host, Peter Brown, and as always, I can't do this by myself. I have to do it with Uncle Ed because I think it's in the contract. Say hi, Ed.
How's it going, guys? It's great to have you back, and we've got a great guest tonight. First, Peter, did you have anything else to say before
No,
we get
well,
to
everybody
the
should
guest?
know already. We have Juan Agudelo on the show tonight, so we'll be talking to him in just a minute. But actually, I do want to mention one thing that's something new to this to the channel and everything is that, and this is completely optional, but you'll see down there when you're chatting that there's something called Super Chat. Those of you who are familiar with YouTube, you already know what it is. So if you want to use it, feel free. If you don't, forget about it. But it's just a way to contribute to the show if you so choose. So, and obviously we'll definitely read your comment if you do that. But we're gonna read them anyway, so it's up to you. But Ed, how are you doing this week?
Good, man. Pumped up. We've got 49 days left till the team starts playing.
Yeah.
Dude, that's incredible. And yesterday I got to hang out, of course, with the Southern Legion. Everybody's getting that music down pat. Right. I think we're gonna do great, man. But
sounds
good. Let's nitty gritty.
Yeah,
let's get to the nitty gritty.
Which is to welcome on Mr. Juan Agudelo. Hey, Juan, how you doing?
Hey, y'all. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, they could see you.
All right, cool. Thanks for having me on the show, boys.
Thanks for spending some time with the Southern Legion recently, and then also spending some time with us. We really appreciate everybody in the chat loves to get to know the players and everything from the organization. And just everybody remember that the chat, like I said, it's open. And so if you want to jump in and ask any questions, as long as they're not too ridiculous, we'll definitely ask them. So, jump in and have fun and, direct the show. So we'll go wherever you want us to go. So, Juan, speaking of places to go, welcome to South Florida. So, we call it Inter Miami, but the training academy is in Fort Lauderdale. So this is really South Florida's team. So welcome to South Florida. Have you had a chance to walk around South Florida a little bit?
Yeah, I was just there. I believe it was a week ago. Had a great time. Had my family there, and we saw all the amazing things that it had to offer. And I was just shocked about the development of the facility, one, of the stadium, two, and just how awesome it is to actually live in such a beautiful place. Like, I mean, what else do you want? You got the beach, you got the weather, you got everything. Everything's there that you can do. I mean, I even heard there was like a casino right there. That's incredible.
Yeah, I was actually at the casino. I don't gamble much, but I was at the casino actually a couple of weeks ago with my wife, just having. I think my daughter went too. So we all went and just had dinner at the casino. That big guitar shape. You got to drive by it. Giant guitar shaped hotel. It's amazing.
Yeah. Gotta check it out. I only saw the lights late at night. I said, "What is that? Is that UFO or where's that?"
But it's cool.
Yeah, look, it's pretty cool. Juan, let's go a little bit back in your past. You first started playing through the U.S. national team system with the under teams, and then you ended up going to the Red Bulls. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, so I was in the residency program actually in Bradenton, Florida, for about a year and a half, working hard, trying to make the World Cup qualifying team, under 17s. And we did that. The tournament was in Nigeria. I think we got to like round of 16. We lost to Italy. And then from those games, I was scouted by my academy team, which was the New York Red Bulls, and they offered me a contract there. And then from there, just started taking off professionally.
And speaking of your MLS career and then going into Europe, I mean, you played at Red Bull. Then you also looks like you spent some time at Chivas, and then New England, where you did you didn't play there the first stint very long because you did so well that you started to really impress scouts from overseas. So you got signed by Stoke. That had to be an amazing feeling to very quickly in your career get to go travel over to Europe. But of course, that didn't come without some challenges with, say, work permits and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty cool. It was a dream that I had since I was little, was to play in the English Premier League. It was just a league that I always watched. Wasn't interested in playing in any other leagues, but unfortunately, that was the league that's like the hardest on work permits and European passports.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? How's the whole work permit thing go? I'm not too familiar about that.
It's you basically, in order to count as a non-international, you need to go through a process, which is you either automatically qualify if you have, I believe, 60% or 70% started national team games, and then you automatically qualify. I believe DeAndre Yedlin, he's one that qualifies, and all the other guys that play in England, they've acquired passports from either their grandparents or something like that. So I don't have any. All my stuff is South American, so I couldn't do that. So then if you don't have any of those things, you have to go through a work permit, like court process, to see if you're worth taking some English player's job. So they're pretty rough on work over there, so they want to make sure that it's a legit situation for you going. And unfortunately, I had, I believe, 40%, and I needed 70% to automatically qualify. So I had to go through that process, and then I got denied. But then I went to Holland in order to help my case. And then unfortunately, they were just really adamant on developing more jobs and helping the youth English players help the English first team in the World Cups.
Gotcha.
And then after that, you came back to MLS with New England. Spent a bunch of years in New England. How would you describe your time in New England?
It was fun. I enjoyed it. Met a lot of great teammates, a lot of great coaches. Fans there were great.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about, I mean, you were headed to Toronto. That's what it looked like anyway. Tell us a little bit about that. All of a sudden you're ready to go to Toronto, and then they say, hold on your horses, and, they send you to Miami. How did that work out?
Yeah, I've been in the league for a while. I know how this league works, and whenever Toronto picked up my rights, which is they didn't sign me, they picked up my rights, I knew that it wasn't anything official. So it wasn't like I was up and ready to go. I knew that there was still some negotiations to be had, and I didn't think it was a for sure thing that I was going to go to Toronto. But yes, we didn't agree on the terms, and then the beautiful Miami team showed up.
Yeah.
Good for us.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Their loss is our gain, right? So
exactly.
I'm curious, and when you go through something like that, and your old team at some point says it's time for a change, and you're maybe feeling the same way. You're potentially linked to another team. I mean, there's got to be a lot of emotions that are going through, because we as fans, we just see it as we want the next player, we want the next good player, this or that. We're just moving pieces, but these are people's lives we're talking about. You've got to move your family, get a new house. I mean, it's a stressful situation, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm glad someone's thinking outside the box as like that, because us as players, for sure, it's difficult. I mean, having kids lose their friends and wives trying to develop their careers and then having to start over again. Yeah, definitely. It's tough. But we sat down, and my wife's Colombian. She likes Colombian food. Miami's got a lot of Colombian food.
Yeah, it does.
And I thought it would be the best decision for our family. And it didn't go from Toronto to straight to Miami. No, there was actually 3 other teams that I could have potentially signed for, but I chose Miami.
No, you did the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely for us. And there's a lot of Colombians here, and like you saw at the when we were with the Southern Legion, a lot of the members are Colombian, so they're really happy about that.
What part of Colombia?
I'm from Cali,
Okay.
Colombia. Yeah, and my wife, she's from Pereira.
Okay. I'm headed to Medellin next week.
Oh, next week.
Yeah. Next week,
Nice.
maybe. Hopefully, we'll probably if internet cooperates, we'll be doing this show from Medellin next week. So.
Oh.
Yeah. I go there. I go there at once a quarter for a week at a time.
Yeah. We should have pretty good internet by now. Back then, probably not, but
Well,
it should be better.
it's more about the hotel, not so much about Colombia.
Yeah.
Colombia's internet's fine.
Yeah. Nah, we updated to 2G now. We're on 2G.
No, there's I've got a team of people that I work with over there, so they've got good internet. They're fine. I just don't know about the hotel.
Yeah.
Let's go, Juan. Tell us a little bit. Have you talked to the coach, Diego Alonso? Have you talked anything to him, or you're still waiting to meet the guy or talk to him?
I think he's still getting accommodated. I mean, he was just signed a couple of days ago, but I'm looking forward to talking to him this weekend coming up, actually.
Did you know a little bit about him, or other than him being a coach of Monterrey? I mean, were you aware of his existence? Because there's a lot of people out there that are saying, "Oh, man, this wasn't our first choice." Like wasn't probably Inter Miami's first choice.
Yeah.
Did you hear about him before? Did you know who he was?
I actually just recognized him, but it wasn't like I remembered his name. But I know he definitely did well in CONCACAF Champions League, so that's where I recognized him. And he definitely, I mean, to send a team to finals and win is hard to do.
Twice.
So,
Twice.
So, yeah, I respect that.
And he's really young too, so he's I think he's 45, Peter.
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I know.
I was looking
He looks
something. Talk about age, and this is going to make you feel old,
Thank
Peter.
you.
And
Thank
I like rubbing in that Peter is older than I am.
But hang on. But whoa. If you're going to rub it in that I'm older than you, Juan, that doesn't look accurate, right? I mean, you look at him, you look at me, you think I'm the younger one here. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, I would have
just because I got the grays going here, but that's about it.
Yeah. All right, go ahead with your silly question.
No, well, I was going to say that Juan was born in 92. So, in 92, I was in the Army. Just so you have an idea of our age. And Peter's older than I am.
I mean, 92, I was hit.
He could be your kid.
I was hit. Yeah. Just so you know, Juan, I have a 31-year-old son.
Well, it's 4 more years than me.
Yeah. So, and a 15-year-old daughter, but that's not the one that's impressive. It's the fact. I mean, she's impressive, but I mean, not by age.
Yeah.
Hopefully she doesn't watch us, or any of her friends. But yeah, I'm old. But no, in '92, I was hitting the clubs, Ed. I had the long hair. I was still.
We should pull up that picture.
I don't have it ready. But I was rocking the '80s look still, man. I was getting all the chicks, going to all the rock clubs. It was good times back then.
He had the heavy metal hair.
Yeah, Juan was just a little, baby at the time.
Yeah, I was in diapers, but you were rocking the Joe Dirt.
No, man, no. It wasn't the Joe Dirt, man. It was more the Motley Crue, come on now.
I like that. Joe Dirt. I'm going to call you Joe Dirt from now.
All right. Thanks, Juan.
Thanks, Juan. You gave me a good one.
I love when the guest starts giving us stick. That's when everybody feels comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
So you talked a little bit about the training facility. I think you mentioned something about it. I had the opportunity today to get a tour of the training facility. Just so you know, Juan, what I do every weekend is I just walk around the perimeter and I do a little construction update. And the people there, they know me, and they once in a while remind me, don't go through the fence. And I said, I know the rules. That's fine. This time, Paul was there. He waved me in. He gave me a little tour. I couldn't video it, but he gave me a tour. It's pretty impressive what they've got planned for you guys. What do you think of the whole thing? I mean, I'm sure you've gotten your own little tour.
No,
No?
I was shocked. No, I have.
Okay, good. I thought I saw a picture.
Yeah. How they Photoshop. I'm just. I got a tour. It was awesome. I was shocked. I mean, I pulled up to the place. I couldn't believe what I was seeing because I don't think Miami like publicized it as much as, you know, I don't know. I think they're trying to shock some people, but I was shocked certainly because, I mean, 3 jacuzzis.
Yeah.
They got a brand new 2-story like facility where the lunchroom's unbelievable with the patio facing the fields, and then you got the stadium right there. And then I was just shocked because you know, New England, where I was, they got a new facility, right? And then I was like, oh, it would have been cool to train in here. But I'm thinking, wow, like this is gonna be even more new and similar, maybe even better. Well, I think. And
Paul says it's the best in the league because he's seen them. You know, of course, he keeps comparing everything to Atlanta because that was his last place. But you know, he was telling me I think it's in the cold pool, but one of those little pools. They're going to have like a treadmill or something underwater. So I guess that's probably used for recuperating. I'm not.
Yeah, recovery or guys that are injured. Right. But yeah, that just goes to show like how aggressive they're being with their like ideas, and they're not just trying to be one of these teams that makes the playoffs one year and doesn't the other. They're trying to be one of the top teams every year.
Well, we definitely don't want to be like Orlando City, that's for sure. Never make the playoffs. Just throwing that out there.
Hey, let's talk a little more about the trading facility, just because I was super excited about it. Sorry, Ed. But AJ De La Garza came on our show a few weeks back, and he said his favorite part about the facility was the lunchroom, but Paul calls it the restaurant. But what was your favorite thing you saw there, or you were thinking that at least he described?
Yeah, I would say the hot tubs, and that's just probably where you'll see me a lot of the time. I think so. I would say that was pretty cool, just to have such like 3 big cold tubs. It helps recovery process.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
So it's good.
Yeah, that's something that was interesting too. Is that we went up on that second floor and he was showing how it's all going to be glass around, with overlooks where you guys are like lifting your weights or training, equipment and all that.
Oh yeah,
and
that's it. You just reminded me.
Yeah, he told me that you guys have nowhere to hide. No. There's no privacy.
Yeah, and it is pretty weird because Diego Alonso's office is going to be hovering right above the gym. So I know there's going to be a lot of guys pretending like they're working out.
Oh, no, not here. They got to put in the real work. And another thing that was interesting that, talking about the thought that really went into this is because it is such a open facility where there is very little privacy that I don't know if you saw this or if they told you about it, but they actually created like little cubbies for you guys to go and have a private cell phone call or something like that, because everybody needs some private moments from time to time. Do you guys have these little cubbies that have been, I imagine they'll put a door on there. I'm not sure about the door, but some place for you to kind of step out under everybody's eye and have your private time if you need to talk to the wife.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's really thinking.
No, that's thinking outside the box for sure. And I mean, it just goes to show how everyone respects each other, or what their idea is of like respect and privacy and just understanding of life, I guess. I mean, it just makes all sense. The whole thing architecturally, the whole thing, the way it was set up, you take your boots outside. You take your boots obviously outside. You don't want to bring in dirt into your house.
Well, he said it's because they smell.
Yeah, that too.
He says they smell real bad.
Yeah, it just makes sense, and yeah, it's all really smartly built.
Well, let's talk about Paul Mcdonough, for example. He's created this team that a lot of people are talking about. Are there any players that you're looking forward to playing with? There's quite a bit of players. We still don't have the DPs, but there's some good players out there. Who are you looking forward to playing with?
Well, I used to play with Lee Wynn when I was in Boston, and we got along pretty well. So that was like one of my first calls about asking him, what have you heard before I signed? So I talked to him, and yeah, we were pretty excited to play Give and Goes together again.
All right, let's go look at the chat a little bit, Ed. So we got 593 Sports TV that's asking, out of all the stars that you shared the locker room with, which one influenced you more in your career so far?
More in my career?
Yeah. Which other player or star influenced you the most?
Yeah. No, I would have to say Juan Pablo Angel.
He was good.
Yeah. I think it was because my first year, I didn't know what to expect. I just saw people on TV and actually being in the locker room and seeing how a professional is supposed to act at 17 years old watching this. That's just the guy that I saw just doing sit-ups at like 6:30 a.m. before we were even supposed to be there. So, and him just taking shot after shot when practice was over. So he influenced me the most. He just showed me just kind of like what it takes.
And I think he finished his career over in Nacional in Medellin, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. You're correct.
I had to learn a little bit about that team because all my the people I hire cheer for that team.
Yeah, they're definitely the heavy favorites of fans over there.
Juan, there's another question here. You kind of already answered this, but Bruno Vieira is asking if you met some of your new teammates. So anybody apart from Lee that you've met?
That I haven't met, but I know just by talking to them throughout the league. I know, let me see if I remember everybody. I know AJ De La Garza from the national team, Luis Robles. I just know him very well because I'm close to a lot of Red Bull guys. Who else? Obviously, Lee Wynn. Mikey Ambrose, actually, I played with him in Bradenton. We were with the national team together, under 17s.
Nice.
Mikey Ambrose. And then there may be one I'm forgetting. But, yeah. That's it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. So, makes me feel old.
No, come on.
To go to a team and then know like five
not
players
as old as Peter, man.
pretty well, yeah.
But you hope that you age as gracefully as I do. Not like Ed.
Yeah.
Not like Ed.
Yeah.
yeah. Whatever for your nonsense. Well, somebody's already.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah, somebody's asking. Does Juan know? Eric Thomas here in the chat room again is asking. Do you know the formation that you're going to be playing in? I'm going to say no, right?
Nah, no idea. Hopefully 9 attackers.
They said they want to play attacking, right?
Yeah. Hopefully 1 defender, 9 attackers.
Do you let me ask you this, it kind of goes back to what we were, talking about all these different players and who do you know? That's a lot of new faces to get to know and then learn, everybody's, get the chemistry right so you know where everybody's going to be on the field. How long does that really take? Because you don't have a lot of time. January camp supposed to start soon, and but then we're playing games in March. So, I mean, realistically, how long does it take for you guys to start to gel?
No, I think at about the 2nd or 3rd preseason game, things are sort of gelling, and on that last 2 weeks of preseason, that's when you're basically striding the way that you would stride for a normal regular season game.
So you think you could get it all figured out that quick? Is that just because, hey, we're all professionals, we all know what we're here to do?
I think that's just how soccer is. You kind of just speak the same language once you're on the field. So I'm sure maybe at dinner when we're as a team, we might not understand each other, some people, but on the field, yeah, it'll come natural. And yeah, it'll be pretty easy to be fit and ready and gelled up come our first game.
So those people that have been a little bit concerned, there's a lot of the fan base that has been concerned that we don't have a full team yet, or that we didn't have a coach yet. So what you're saying is that none of that really mattered as long as as long as they're there by the camp starts, you guys will figure it all out rather quickly. So calm down, fans.
Yeah, I mean that's just how fans are. They always want the best. You always are gonna push the GM, or you're gonna push the team. Fight for, like, I don't know, Lionel Messi. I don't know. You're always gonna want to push the team to get somebody huge so that you can't stop losing. So I don't blame the fans, but just no. I mean, it's a long season.
You mentioned Messi. Do you think that's, in Miami, everybody wants the big stars, and some of that's because our ownership group has kind of led us to believe that they're going to go after some of these big names. Do you think? How long do you think it will be? How many more years till, let's say, Messi's ready for MLS? And do you think he'll ever come here?
I don't know. I think there's a better chance Ronaldo comes than Messi, because Messi's kind of like so in love with Barcelona.
Right.
But obviously you saw Ronaldo move around. He's about that life.
Yeah. Well, he does really well with every team that he plays with. But which one for you is better? I'm putting you on the spot because everybody always says Messi, but do you think Ronaldo's better? Would you rather play with him?
I think.
Yeah, who serves you better?
I think Messi's a more gifted player. Ronaldo's like a specimen. I can't pick one or the other, because I respect Ronaldo's work ethic too much, and I respect Messi's just ability so much. He's just natural. I don't even think he works out that much.
Right? He doesn't look like he does. A lot like Ronaldo does. Yeah. Well, Ronaldo's 34, I think, right?
He's at that age, right? He's ready for MLS. I mean, we hate to say that you're too young or something to come to MLS, but when we're talking about the big global stars, he's at that age where if he's going to do it, it's going to be soon. Otherwise, it's too late.
Yeah. For sure.
So hurry. Let's get that. Let's make that deal happen, Paul Mcdonough. You're right.
Exactly. We were talking about Colombia with Peter, because Peter loves going to Colombia. Well, he has to go because of work.
Well, what's funny? Hang on, Ed. What's funny is that's an issue in my house, because my wife is Brazilian, but I do like Colombia better. And that causes a bit of a problem when I tell her I think I like Colombia better, and she's like, "Be quiet, don't say that," because she's from Curitiba, Brazil, and but Curitiba is kind of ugly. Medellin's nice.
Well, Colombia is not that far away. So, like, if you want to get on the plane, what is it, 2.5 hours or something?
Just under 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. That's quick. So, Juan, if you want to go, it's 2.5 hours away. You can go for a weekend and come back. Well, you
not
can't
during the weekend. No, we got games, but some off time.
Yeah, I got to kick the ball.
Because that's what you do.
That's what I do.
We didn't set him up for that, Ed.
I know, we ruined it.
Yeah,
but it was funny. We did it was a joke that he said earlier before we got on the show. So it didn't said it. We ruined that.
Yeah,
one.
Need to print out some business cards. It's instead of saying forward, just kicks the ball.
Yeah,
that's what I do.
I just kick the ball. Well, but tell us, we're talking about Colombia. What's your favorite Colombian food? There's plenty of restaurants in Miami, Colombian restaurants, real good ones too.
Yeah, I would say bandeja paisa,
that's
which
good
is
stuff.
That's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
See, that's what I love about Miami. Like, you say that anywhere else, they're like, "Oh, what's that?"
There's this place called Mondongo's. Do you like Mondongo?
They have that. They have that in Colombia too. The actual restaurant. Yeah.
So there's Mondongo here in Doral, so you got to go check it out. It's good stuff. They should pay us for promoting them.
Mm-hmm.
But the funny thing is, you've obviously you've been to Colombia a number of times, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how it is where you go, but when I'm there, at least in the area of Colombia, I'm in the area called El Poblado, but there's not a lot of Colombian restaurants. I get more Colombian food here in South Florida than I do when I'm in Colombia.
Yeah. I don't know why that is, actually.
I've asked my team
I guess
members.
they get. I didn't think you could get tired of Colombian food, but I guess a lot of people in Colombia get tired of Colombian
I
food.
asked my team members why aren't there more Colombian restaurants around here, and they said it's because everybody feels that their mother or grandmother makes the best fill in the blank. You know, they make the best bandeja país. I can't say it. I just know it tastes good. But you know, their mother or whatever makes the best Colombian food. So every restaurant they go to, they're judging it against their mother. So they'd rather. You know what's big in Colombia? Hamburgers. They're all
Yeah.
about these artisan hamburgers. Everywhere I go, I'm like, I had enough hamburgers.
Yeah,
Hmm.
It's
that's
Definitely.
all we eat here in the
it's
U.S.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, there's a question from Julio Caballero. He's asking, there's a rumor about Roger Martinez coming here. What do you think about that?
It would be really chill. I mean, I know the rumor's been flying around a long time. It'd be so sick if he came. He would be my compañero
Hmm.
on the
For
team.
sure. Hmm.
And yeah, no, I mean, hopefully they could sort something out because it would be great to um, maybe get on the end of his shot rebounds because he does shoot the ball a lot. So
Right.
hopefully I get on the end of those. And yeah, I saw the final game. He did really well. He did really good. Unfortunately, they lost, but in Liga MX. Hmm.
Yeah,
But still, they got to the final.
talking about like getting on his rebounds or whatever. That Mr. XO Warrior had asked a few minutes ago, what's your preferred position? Because we know you've played striker and you've also played wing. So which one do you prefer?
I actually played a lot of midfield last year, but I definitely prefer forward number 9. Definitely, I think that just suits me the best. I just have a like a rice and beans body that I can push defenders off and create a shot. So I think that's what I'll be good at.
That's a good one, rice and beans. We've got another confecciones
Oh
Minola.
yeah,
She's
yeah. How do you say
or
that, Ed?
he's
That's translate
it's
that. It's in
well,
Spanish.
well, I'm gonna say it. Yeah, it's in Spanish. Says Juan, what do you think about the Miami fan base? You've gone through a lot of MLS. Have you ever seen anything like what we have here in the rest of MLS? You saw a little bit of it.
Mm. No, pues yo pienso que nah, I'm just playing.
Hey, we do this channel in both languages. This show's traditionally English. You want to say it in Spanish? Go for it.
It's fine. No, I think it is actually just so personally my style because landing in the airport, getting out, feeling the weather, feeling the heat, and then listening to the fans' music. It's more of a Southern American type of vibe, kind of feel, kind of drum sound, and a Latin kind of style and sauce that like I kind of been kind of dying for. I feel like in my career, and it is actually very special here because ethnicity wise, it's just I feel like there's no judging here. Everybody just respects everybody just for who they are, and they're willing to like cooperate to kind of push the team to win games, however it may be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so South Florida. I mean, it's nothing but a big melting pot. You got us gringos like me. You got those Ecuadorians like Ed and Haitians and everything. Every mix and match you can imagine down here in South Florida. So we totally, completely are. I mean, no different than what you would see up in New York, I imagine. But just a big melting pot. Huge Haitian community down here as well. So I imagine in the stadium, over time. I think most of the field is going to be Latin, mostly Spanish stuff, but I think you'll get little flavors of all those cultures, especially if, for example, a supporters group pops up that's all Haitian. I mean, they're going to bring in there used to be, and you might remember, there used to be these Trinidadian guys that went to Fort Lauderdale Strikers games back in the NASL. Those guys were awesome. We got to,
Yeah, they'll probably come back.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine that kind of flavor at Lockhart, and then eventually at Freedom Park. It would be pretty amazing. I think you would enjoy that, Juan.
Yeah.
It's cool. There's a lot of cool stuff. One of the questions that I'm seeing right here is like Exo Warriors asking again, will Juan return to the U.S. men's national team? Have you had any talk with Berhalter by any chance?
We got a
Um,
new teammate.
this is my daughter. Say hi. She's shy. I'm on video, mommy. I'll be right there. Okay. No, I haven't talked to Berhalter in a while. I did speak to him. He says he's a fan. I just have to perform a bit more with my club team, and that's totally understandable.
Talk a little bit about your performance. I mean, and to be brutally honest, just from a fan's perspective, some people would say your performance level is dropped a little bit over the last couple of years. I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, and if you agree with that, how do you get back to where you were?
No, I just feel like I haven't caught that rhythm. Once I do get going, I've shown it that consistency can be there, but it's always something like an injury that sets me back. Or I felt like last year I played a lot of games as center mid, and then people were looking at me to score goals from center mid.
Right.
So it was a kind of a tough situation, but no, I'm pretty excited about this year. I don't think I've worked this hard in any off season ever.
Do you feel like you have something to prove to Toronto or New England or just the rest of MLS? Any naysayers? Do you go out on the field with a grudge, or you just, hey, I just do my job?
No, I don't really think about other people but myself, and um, I I would say I just gotta. I believe in myself a lot, and I would say I was just a little bit complacent over times, but I feel like I'm over that hump, and this kind of switch is what I needed, and I just can't wait to get started because I know the ability that I have, and I just have to put it out on the field.
Juan, what's your favorite thing to do when you're not playing soccer? What hobbies do you have? Do you play video games? What do you do on your time off?
Yeah, it's pretty random, but I got two. I have an electric bike that goes pretty fast. I might even try to ride it to training. We'll see how hot it is.
It's
and
hot.
I also have,
It's hot.
Yeah, it gets hot.
It gets hot.
You might change your idea of doing that after a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think
It's hot and humid.
I don't think an umbrella would work. Right? It wouldn't work on the bike.
And it does rain a lot here. Like in the summertime, you could almost put it on a clock. At right around noon, right around after lunchtime, it will rain.
A little spray.
Sometimes
okay,
a lot.
That.
Sometimes a little. Mm-hmm. You don't know, but it's gonna rain almost on a schedule. It's gonna rain.
Yeah, I hear you. And the other hobby would be I have like this pretty cool, like I'm a big Formula One fan, so I have like this racing simulator, and I race online with like a legit like pretty strong steering wheel and pedals and that, and I just race online.
Wow. Have you ever done that in live? Have you ever? Because we've got a racetrack down here in the Homestead. Maybe get you out there and see how well you do in live.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely check it out because I have a car that can probably be good in the track.
Will they let you do stuff like that? Hey, that's a interesting question. Is with players' contracts? I mean, what are you allowed to do outside of the field?
I don't think things that qualify as extreme sports, and I don't even know what. I think snowboarding qualifies as an extreme sport, but I don't know. I have, but before I signed any contracts.
So you can skateboard? Is that considered another? I don't know if you skateboard.
I think skateboarding. I think skateboarding in the park would be an extreme sport, but not skateboarding in the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no idea. I think it all depends on whether the team wants to kind of get rid of you or not.
All right.
Right.
So there's a question here. Speaking of hobbies, how are you at FIFA? On the old video game machine, FIFA 2020.
Yeah, people are gonna hate me for it, but I used to be probably top 10 in the U.S. in 2000.
Nice.
In 2000, I would say like 16, 15, and then I kind of just grew out of it because it started getting to where it wasn't looking like soccer. It was more looking like a different sport because people, when you get to like a really high like division or level, it's kind of like doesn't look like soccer. It's like they find out glitches and ways to. So I kind of got over the game for a bit, but yeah, I'll still play a bit, and I'm sure I'll probably win 2 out of 3 games against
it probably gets
people.
tiring hearing these little kids, teenagers maybe smack talking and headsets at you. Like, shut up, kid.
Yeah,
shut up, kid. I can do
this bad.
Yeah, I can do this for real. You can only play within the joysticks.
Yeah, that's what's funny is that like I didn't know. I just put my name online. It's not some made up name. Like I thought that that's what you had to put a long time ago. Like, so my username is my name and some numbers that I'm not going to say out loud, but it's my name. And then people ask me like, "Are you the real Juan Agudelo?" And I'm like, sometimes I say yes. Sometimes I'm like, "Oh no, I'm just a big fan of his." I'm trying to support him. And yeah, the people that I tell, they don't believe it, and some do, and then they're pretty stoked about it. So
going back to that chat and that same conversation, Mr. XO Warrior says, just FYI, Juan, you're already a starter on his pseudo Inter Miami roster in FIFA 2020, and you're the highest scorer in MLS currently.
Oh, man, that's nice. Hopefully it translates to real life.
That'd be good.
Yeah, I would owe him a percentage if.
All right, you heard that here, Mr. XO.
He's gonna invoice me.
So, Juan, tell us what's your personal goal for 2020 with the Inter Miami?
I mean, just to be just straight blunt, I feel like I haven't been as selfish enough in the box. I'm always looking to kind of pass the ball. I think it was like 2 years ago where I had one of the most touches. 3 years ago, most touches in the box, and like not as many shots. So I just have to be a little bit quicker on pulling the trigger and understanding my position, which is, to score goals. And that's just kind of the mindset that a lot of really good forwards have. And I just sucks that I'm realizing that now. But yeah, my goal is to score double-digit goals for the first time in my career.
I'm always thinking about goals because, my company, we have to create these OKRs, objectives, and key results. And we're constantly getting judged on our creating goals every quarter. So it's ridiculous. I got to constantly making up goals. I got to make stuff up. At least yours is like legit and good. Score. That's it.
Score. Just shoot. I got to shoot and score and kick the ball.
There's another question in the chat from Ruben Rivas, and I think he does some coaching himself. So, of course, his question is coach related. What coach did you learn from the most?
Oh, a coach. My previous coach, I would say Bruce Arena, just when he was with the national team. Just like the way that he treated us players as professionals and made us understand our job and what will benefit the team as a unit. So it was kind of one of the coaches where I was like, wow, like every decision that he's making is a decision that I would make, even if I wasn't in the starting lineup. So that goes to show how
Bruce
good
has
of a
been a
coach he
winner
was.
Everywhere he goes. Do you think he, at his, he's getting a little older. I don't know if that plays any part in his coaching. Do you think he's going to turn New England into, do the same thing he did in DC and LA?
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see, because what's tough is that other teams in the league are also kind of filling up their artillery too. So it's like your team gets better, but so do other teams. Mm-hmm.
Juan, do you have a desire to still play in Europe? What do you talk about goals? Let's look at yourself in the future. Where do you see yourself?
Yeah, you always kind of just have to set your goals high, and then maybe you'll fall a little bit under that goal. And at that, some cases, that's not even a bad thing. But yeah, obviously, that's the best place to play in the world right now is Europe, Champions League. Yeah, I want to play one Champions League game, even if it's like a qualifying game or something. But yeah, that's a goal.
What about someday playing in Colombia? Now, I mean, we don't want you going anywhere. First off,
Uh,
let's just get that straight.
yeah, actually, I almost signed for Millonarios before I signed
Oh
for
yeah,
the
I
Red
did read
Bulls.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So I was pretty close to signing there. And yeah, no, Colombia would be really cool.
Wow,
Yeah,
play Copa
exactly.
Libertadores or something like that. That would be
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different tournament. That's real
World.
exciting to think about. Yeah, that's on a different level.
Juan, how do you feel about the color pink?
Uh, I feel good. Look at this. I gotta show you. Nah, it's all right. Paul just texted me. I'll sign up for 10 goals, so he's in tune right
Oh,
now.
so you think he's watching? Oh, all right.
I think
It was,
so.
it's kind of funny. Is when I
Shout
met
out.
Paul today, I introduced myself, and he's like, "I know who you are." So that's good.
Yeah, yeah. He's
Like,
seen. He's. What do you think your reputation is around the block on like just spying on the place every day? What do you
For me,
think?
what do I think about Lockhart? Again, Ed, I
Yeah.
love when the guests start turning the questions on us. You can let you ask anything you want. Me, see, I'm old school. You know, I've grown up here. I used to go to Lockhart back in the '70s to go see the Fort Lauderdale Strikers back in the heyday. Yes,
that's how old he is.
I'm 50,
Mm-hmm.
but but yeah, I'm 50. I'm
I'm
50
50.
years
Yeah.
old. But so I mean, I'm super excited. There was a group of people that were upset that they tore down the historic Lockhart because that's what it's referred to. It's so much soccer's played there, from strikers to national teams to the Miami Fusion to again the strikers. You know, so I'm excited when I see it. It's I have no problems with wiping out the old and building the new. It was asbestos filled. It had to go. So I'm super excited every time I see it, and it just looks. I know size wise, it seats about the same as the old Lockhart. The old Lockhart, when we were playing for the Fusion, seated I think 20,500, something like that, and this is 19,000 and change. So it's about the same size, but yet feels so much more massive. So I know this is a temporary venue for the first team, a permanent venue for other national teams coming, and for the USL team, and maybe a women's team someday. But you know, so it's your temporary venue for the couple of years. But as far as temporary venues go, pretty impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I was shocked. Like I said, I didn't expect that. I think everyone's gonna be shocked once they finish up and then post it social media wise.
There's a lot of
They'll be really
concern
shocked.
though, and Paul assured me today that it's on schedule, but there is a lot of concern that it's not on schedule, or and actually some of our friends know people that are on the construction crew. I think you may have said something about that, Ed. And some of these construction workers are like, "On, I don't know." It's gonna be tight.
It's gonna be
I think
tight.
they can get it done. I've never been in a construction site where zero
You-
people were taking breaks. So it was pretty
No
wild
kidding.
for me to see
Yeah, there's
that. Like they weren't even taking sips of water, eating their sandwiches, talking. They were like actually getting it in. And I'm talking about like
right.
50 workers.
And
Going at
And
it.
other
So-
times that I've been there, I've seen a concentrated group of workers, and I always go on a Sunday morning, so I'm probably going to see the smallest workforce, right, on a Sunday. And so I'm going there on a Sunday morning, and a lot of times you'll see them concentrated on one area. Maybe it's a training facility, maybe it's the East Stands or whatever. Today I was out there, and it was a little bit rainy today. Lots of mud around, just drizzling, but it had previously rained pretty nice. And I saw people all around the facility. They were everywhere. You heard sawing, hammering, everything mixed in today. So there was a lot of activity. So when I look at it, And granted, I know nothing about construction. I tell I think they'll get it done. But to say there won't be maybe some 24/7 shifts running, some good overtime opportunities for those construction workers. Make some dough.
They
Make
wanted
some
to get
money.
it done. I like this. Look, there's a really good question here, and I want to hear what you have to say about this one, Juan.
Give it to
when
me.
Colombia and USA play, who do you root for?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I don't know too many Colombian
There
players,
you
and I
go.
got to root for my boys that are playing on the field. So, yeah, I'm pushing for USA players. I mean, my good friends are on the team, and I know them personally. I know their lives, so I definitely got to push for them.
Yeah, that's how I am too. Because my parents are from Ecuador. I was born here in the States, but when it comes to that, I'm always for the USA. Red, white, and blue.
It's funny is
Yeah.
I have a little bit of that in my house as well. I mean, I'm all 100%. Well, I'm not Indian, so I'm not all American, but lived here all my life. But my wife, we actually went to years ago, and she never let me forget this. We went to Brazil versus U.S., and I think it was at the old Orange Bowl, I believe.
Orange Bowl?
And I think maybe Kaká was on that as a young kid. It was like the B team that was playing. And I made my wife sit in the American section. She's never let me forget it.
That's funny.
No.
Did the US win?
No. Yeah,
was
but
a
still,
B
it's
team, that
Brazil.
sucks.
And,
That was when in 1980?
I wasn't married in 1980, dude. So, it was no. I had to be. I got married in 2001, so it had to be early marriage because we didn't have our daughter yet. So 2001, 2002, somewhere in that neighborhood. But yeah, made her cheer for the U.S. and in her Brazil shirt.
Oh, wow.
All right. So here's another question: Barcelona or Real Madrid? Now we're getting to some silly questions.
I like Barcelona.
All right. Why?
Barcelona, just the way they play, the style they play, the spacing. And I don't know, I kind of like how I got like an insight of how they play because Thierry Henry told me like literally what their coach and what their youth teams tell them to play, which is like spacing. And it's kind of cool to see that actually happen every single game. So, yeah.
Juan, you mentioned that you played a midfielder, center midfield. You've also done on the wing. Which is your preferred position?
Yeah, I would say forward, number 9.
Yeah, weren't you paying attention, Ed? You already answered that.
Oh, you did? Oh, sorry.
Thought it was a trick question. Thought it was a trick question.
Just a couple more, and then we'll let you go. I'm going to probably answer this for him because based on our earlier conversation, Sean the Fish Slayer, love that screen name. It was asking if you have any information on the jerseys based on our previous conversation. I know the answer is no, right? Because you hadn't even seen the leaked jerseys yet. We had to show them.
No.
We had to show them.
Yeah, you guys,
Well, you didn't answer this
intel.
question before because Paul interrupted. Yeah, how do you feel about pink? Ed and I talk about it once in a while that my wife always was trying to get me to wear a pink shirt. She wants pink will look good on you. Get a nice pink button-down shirt for work, and I was like, nah, I'm not interested. Now all of a sudden, every time we're in a store, I'm like, hey, this is a good-looking pink shirt. How about this one? Now all of a
I
sudden,
do the
I'm all
same
about
thing.
pink.
I was against it
How do you
before.
like pink?
Yeah. No, I love pink. I think it's different, and you got to stand out, especially when you're stepping your foot into MLS. And I think that kind of builds a statement. And how, if somebody's wearing pink and
Right.
they're male, they're confident. So whenever you're coming in there, it just shows a lot of confidence. So I respect that, and I'm all for that.
There you go. It goes back to our old Miami Vice days, man. That's I want to see in the stands, Ed. I want to see some guys dressed up as Crockett and Tubbs. I don't know if
Of course,
everybody
that'd be
gets
awesome.
that reference because I'm old. But see some white jackets out there with the, maybe like the pink jersey on underneath it, sporting those jackets. I had one of those jackets.
Yeah, I'm sure the media team will come up with like a funny video to do.
And if they haven't thought of that, right here, listen, pay attention. We're giving you the good stuff right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Here, look, Doc Leo Thompson, he's asking, América de Cali or Deportivo Cali?
Deportivo Cali.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just because I don't like the devil icon on the América de Cali, and my favorite color is green.
Your favorite color is pink now.
Deportivo
We just established that.
Yeah.
We did just establish that. You're right.
Yeah.
Rewind, reset. My favorite colors pink. So I chose.
People down here, soccer fans down here, don't really care for the color green, and that's because it goes further back to Tampa Bay Rowdies. They play in the USL. They wear green and yellow, and they're bitter rivals with the Fort Lauderdale Strikers here for years. And so in the '70s it was a strong rivalry. Then again in the late 2000s, the rivalry was renewed. So we don't really like green down here.
Yeah. All right.
I mean,
it's clear now. Would we play them in the Open Cup possibly or
possibly?
No?
You never know how that breaks down. But what'll be fun is those kind of games is Inter Miami versus Tampa Bay Rowdies or Inter Miami versus Miami FC, who are now in the USL Championship as well. So local club that likes to think that they're an MLS club. I mean, they spend money on players, and so that will be some fun US Open games. Hopefully those happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Juan, have you talked to David Beckham yet?
I actually spoke to him through social media, and that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anything you could tell us?
Nah, it was short. It was just like, what was it? Something like, welcome to the team. Excited to have you. And I said, wow, man, thank you. Appreciate it. Cool. Thanks for reaching out. Something short like that.
Was it?
Yeah. He's right behind you, though. Ask him. He's right behind you.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to talk to him a couple of times, to interview him a couple of times. So
he's tired of looking at seeing us. I think he's probably like, oh, those guys again.
Nah, he's super. He's always very gracious, very good, nice guy. But hey, Juan, thanks. Let's wrap this up. We're at that point where we're getting to some silly questions. Let's just finish up with what your last thoughts. With coming to Miami. I mean, what do you think, fans can expect out of you? I know you set your double-digit goals, but just overall, what can fans expect from you in 2020 as you fight for a starting position, fight to get those 2020 double-digit goals?
Double-digit.
Yeah, no, I think I definitely felt something deep in me that woke me up, that had me feel like I was a kid again, and lit that fire in me whenever I went to go with the supporters, Southern Legion, and it was pretty special to hear that music that I was listening to whenever I was a kid in the stadium. So it brought me back to when I really loved soccer and really loved that passion. And I think that Miami is just gonna wake that up out of me just by listening to that and feeling that way. So I just want everybody to know I'm extremely motivated. I've never worked harder in any other off season in my career. That is good to know. And I'm excited. I think the whole experience this year, it's going to be very unique for the fans and for everybody involved. So I think it's a special time to be in Miami, and most of all, to be an Inter Miami fan now.
Hey, Juan, thanks so much for spending some time with us. It was really gracious to eat up an hour with us. Fans on the chat, I'm sure, appreciate it. But really, really appreciate you spending some time. And we I hopefully can do this again sometime in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys for having me.
All right, thanks so much. Hey, everybody, before we let everybody else go, let's just remind you to like, share, and subscribe to this video and to the channel as we're growing. Thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week. And in the upcoming videos, I'll probably share a little bit of my tour of the training facility and some of the thoughts that I had in my conversations with Paul Mcdonough, who was amazing and awesome and very generous with his time as well. So thanks so much.
I'm jealous. Paul,
You got to show up. You got to be here in Fort Lauderdale, Ed. Yeah. Paul, I said you're gonna wish you were here. So, yeah, and like my friend Dolores is the security guard. I've given her that name. I don't really know her real name, but she as she looked at me walk through the gate, she said, "Today's your lucky day." So that was great. But thanks so much, Juan. Thanks so much, viewers and everybody in the chat for participating. I appreciate it, and we will see you next week.